Hey everyone. So today I'm going to be doing the 20 questions book tag. I thought it would be a really fun way for you guys to get to know a little bit more about me and what my interests are, the things I like to read, and it might give you some insight on the things you're going to see on this channel a little bit later. So I will do my best to link to the original creator of this tag in the description down below, at least to the best of my ability. And I haven't actually checked any of these questions beforehand. I mean, I read them a while ago, but I kind of wanted to answer them for you with the thing that popped into my head the fastest. So we'll see how this goes. First question. How many books are too many for a series? If it's good, there's not a number. For example, Harry Potter. 7, lovely, great end. I was happy with that. I could continue to read more, but I think there's also a sweet spot. Wheel of Time, 10 books. I got through 5, 6, something like that. That really lost me towards the end of that one. Hunger Games, 1, 2, 3. So it really depends. I don't know that there's necessarily a sweet spot number. I think if they're good, keep going. How do you feel about cliffhangers? Ooh, I love them and I hate them. Okay, so there are certain things with a series. I don't tend to like to read series that aren't fully out. So this is actually kind of a point of contention with my boyfriend and I, because he is all about, like, as soon as a book comes out, reads it, and he continues the series, and that's how it goes. I'm not a big rereader. I'm just not a big rereader. I know, that's, like, crazy to say. But I find that because I'm not a big rereader, I don't tend to go back to remember the initial book in a series if they're not all out yet. So if they end on a cliffhanger, there's a good chance I'm not going back for more. Unless it's already out. In that case, I already bought the book. Hardcover or paperback? Perpetually paperback. Always. I wish that books were just... I think that hardcover copies are absolutely beautiful, and I have some absolutely beautiful hardcovers, but I will go paperback every single time. I prefer to read it. I prefer it to any other medium. Do you know how sad it is to drop a hardcover book in the bathtub? I'm just going to leave you with that. Favorite book? I have many favorite books. I can say 2 off the top of my head for very different reasons. A Thousand Splendid Suns was one of my favorite books. I think I remember just the emotional journey that takes you through is incredible, and what he can do as a writer with those characters was just absolutely insanely lovely, I felt. But I think my favorite book of all time is probably going to be a little bit boring for people, but actually it's The Count of Monte Cristo. I think that book has absolutely everything. It is my favorite. It is amazing. I think also for me, I read it, it was one summer that I spent in Spain with my aunt, and I took a really big book that I was like, I'll spend half the summer reading this. I didn't. I read it in like a week. It was amazing. And I remember the book almost as much as I remember every part of the trip. So that is forever my favorite book. Least favorite book? Oh, I can talk about plenty. Let me spill the tea. Let me give you some controversial opinions. 13 Reasons Why, hated it. Taylor Reed Jenkins, don't like her. Taylor Jenkins Reid, I can't even say her name. I don't even know her name. I'm sorry. I realize the entire internet loves her, and that's fine. I just don't care for it. It's not my thing. 50 Shades of Grey, hate it. Okay, I could keep going on this. There's a ton of stuff. There's plenty that I don't like. I didn't realize I was a picky person, but like, please. Yeah, apparently I am. Love triangles, yes or no? Yes. I don't like that everything, so like Twilight comes out, everything's a love triangle. I don't like that. Everything doesn't have to be a love triangle. Sometimes two people can just like each other and like that's cool. Like, work there. The most recent book you couldn't finish. What's the most recent book I couldn't finish? I'm usually not someone that just completely DNFs a book. Like I said, I've got a million books in my bookshelf that I've got like half read, and that's not necessarily a deterrent. Just for whatever reason, I like skip around to books a lot. So I don't know that I can necessarily say the last book you couldn't finish. I'm going to read that question as the last book I wouldn't finish. Ooh. I don't know. I finish my books. A book you're currently reading. I am currently reading John Krakauer's Missoula, Rape and the Justice System in a College Town. This is my current nonfiction at the moment. I've been going through it for a little bit. I just kind of read smaller sections of it. It's not one that I necessarily pick up often. I am also reading Lisa C's The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane. So I pass books around to my aunt, my mom, and pretty much I'm like a book pusher hugely. But my aunt read this one and said it was amazing. So I've been wanting to read it since she gave it back. The last one you recommended to someone. The last book I recommended to someone was American Prison. And it was a nonfiction investigative piece where a journalist goes into a Louisiana prison and poses at, it's American Prison, a reporter's undercover journey into the business of punishment by Shane Bauer. And basically this reporter poses as a CO in this Louisiana prison, and it just takes you through his experiences, the way that his attitude changes, how he interacts with all the inmates, and he really goes into the justice system. It was an incredible read. Incredible. What's the newest book you've read by publication date? So the newest book I've read by publication date was probably this one, Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. That was probably, I think, one of the newest releases that I completed, maybe. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm okay with that. Favorite author? Favorite author, huh? I'm going to go with Lisa C. I pretty much purchase anything that she writes. I really enjoy her writing. Jane Austen. Love. That shouldn't have been so hard. Wow. Buying books or borrowing books. I am a perpetual book buyer, and I'm not mad at it. A book you dislike that someone seems to love. Anything Taylor Jenkins Reid. 50 Shades of Grey. I can literally go on and on with this one. There are so many books that people absolutely love, and I'm just like, I don't understand what I am reading and what other people are reading. I don't get it. I don't get the love sometimes, but granted, I'm sure that goes the other way with me. I'm sure there are some books that I absolutely adore, and some people are like, this was the worst thing I ever read. So, people's opinions. Bookmarks or dog ears? Dog ears. I'm kind of the worst. It literally is like, it will be a dog ear, it'll be a half of a napkin, it'll be a receipt. It literally is like, it's freaking everything. Half that I'd like turn it upside down. I like leave it in places. Sometimes I'll use another book. I do literally everything. I've started purchasing certain books that now come with bookmarks, so I'm trying to use them a little bit more. But truly, I'm just the worst. Dog ears all day. A book you can always reread. I'm really not a big rereader. I feel like there are so many. I tend to be a fairly busy person, so if I'm really sitting down to read, I'm giving myself maybe an hour. A lot of times I'm not sitting down for longer than that. So it's because I transfer my time doing so many different things, I just don't spend a lot of time rereading when there are so many other new books. I'm like a person that likes constant change, so for me the new is always something I'm looking for. So I'm truly not a big rereader. I would say, if anything, Thousand Splendid Suns, Count of Monte Cristo, not a whole lot else. Can you read while listening to music? I can so I can read doing anything. I grew up in a family with a lot of commotion around. So if it's a matter of like, can I drown people out to read? Yes. Anywhere, doing anything, all the time, doesn't matter. I don't need complete silence to read. Now, if I am given the option, I probably prefer complete silence, because at that point it's just like I'm so immersed, there doesn't need to be anything. One point of view or multiple. Doesn't matter. Don't care. I like them all. Sometimes it lends itself, depending on the story, I think sometimes getting the multiple perspectives is really, really nice. But like, for example, in something like Game of Thrones, I found it really tedious when you're stuck with some of the storylines that you just don't care about so much. So there was almost an entire book. I found the Game of Thrones books, I feel like all of the first couple ones I was really into, I was really there for, but I find his writing style to be really frustrating. So for me, they weren't huge on the top of my list. There are some narratives that go on forever and you're just like, come on, but then you look back and you're like, oh man, that one conversation with that one guy walking the horse was so important. Ugh. Now, granted, for example, in Bring Down the dual perspectives, love. Do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? I read that in one sitting. Well, I guess not in one sitting, but almost. It was like in the span of like 24 hours or so. So I suppose that's like one sitting. Usually if I'm doing something like that, it's because I have to get it done. So like usually, sometimes I wait a little bit too long for my book club books, and then it's like 2 or 3 days before I'm reading the whole thing. I sometimes find that to be a little bit better than sitting down, reading for an hour. But like, I always have a book with me at work. I'll read 15 minutes, stop, 15 minutes. So like, neither, both, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. And the last question is, who do you tag? This one is super weird for me because I don't know that... I don't know. I guess it's like, it feels really weird to tag people. I guess I tag anyone that would like to do it. I'd love to hear what your 20 questions are. So anyway, I hope that you learned a little bit about me today and gave you some insight into the books I like and the type of reader I am. Hit the like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.